Okay, so now we're going to do the practice problems with our constant that is in negative. So again, our first step is always going to be to multiply the coefficient in front of the x squared term to the constant. And that constant is negative 24. So 1 times negative 24 would give me negative 24. So I'm just going to kind of separate a little bit differently today. We're going to write our factors of 24 and two numbers that multiply to negative 24. So first we're going to start with 1 and negative 24. 2, it's positive 1. Positive 2 and negative 12. Now remember, you can use your calculator to find this. Go to the calculator tutorial if you're not sure where we're getting these numbers from. Positive 3 and negative 8. Positive 4 and negative 6. Now I'm going to do the opposite. We're going to have negative 1 times positive 24, negative 2 times positive 12, negative 3 times positive 8, and negative 4 times positive 6. All of those different factors give you a product of negative 24. Now we're going to add the two numbers together, and we're going to try to see which one gives us a positive 5. So 1 plus negative 24 is negative 23. You should be using your calculator to do this. 2 plus negative 12 is negative 10. 3 plus negative 8 is negative 5. And then 4 plus negative 6 is negative 2. Now on to the other side. I can't use purple because it's not going to come up. Let me get to blue. Okay, so we have negative 1 plus 24 is 23. Negative 2 plus 12 is 10. Negative 3 plus 8 is 5. And negative 4 plus 6 is 2. So which group there gives me a positive 5? And that would be this set of factors. Okay, so then your next group is you're going to take the two numbers that we have as factors added to give us 5, and we're going to separate that positive 5 into those two terms. So this is going to break up to negative 3x, positive 8x, and then the same steps apply. Bring down your negative 24 and bring down your x squared. Now just remember to bring those signs. It's so important. And then our grouping starts. So we're going to group our two terms together. The GCF between x squared and x, 3x is x. So we're going to bring our x out. We're left with x minus 3. Our GCF between 8 and negative 24 is 8. And it's positive, so I'm going to bring it down as a positive 8. And what am I left with when I factor it out? X minus 3. Okay, and then our matching factor here comes out in front. And then my leftover x plus 8 goes on the side. And those are the two factors that multiply to give you x squared plus 5x minus 24. Now remember, you can also write it as x plus 8 times x minus 3. Okay, so make sure you get these down, and let's move on to the next example. Number 2, express x squared plus x minus 12 as a product of two binomials. So this is where everyone kind of gets confused in the past. It's really a 1x here. So if you don't put that 1 there, it's going to be hard to find that sum that gives us positive 1, okay? So our first step is always to take our coefficient there, multiply it to this number, which is negative 12. What times 1 times negative 12 is negative 12. So I'm going to list my sets of factors. First signs, and then I flip my signs around. So I have positive 1, negative 12, positive 2, negative 6, multiply to give me negative 12, and positive 3 and negative 4 multiply to give me negative 12. Now I'm going to do my other set of factors. I have negative 1, positive 12, give me negative 12, negative 2 times positive 6 give me negative 12, and negative 3 times positive 4 give me negative 12. Now my next step is to find the two numbers that add to positive 1. So 1 plus negative 12 is negative 11. 2 plus negative 6 is negative 4. 3 plus -4 is -1. Now we're going to go over here. -1 plus 12 is 11. -2 plus 6 is positive 4. -3 plus 4 is positive 1. So which two numbers multiplied to -12 and added to positive 1? That would be that group. So I'm going to take my polynomial. I'm going to split up my first two terms. Split up the middle term to -3x and positive 4x. So I'm going to put -3x plus 4x. And then I'm going to bring down my -12, and I'm going to bring down my x squared. So this step always is the same. It's the middle step that changes because it all depends on the numbers we're using. Now we group it, factor out our GCF. So we're left with x times x minus 3. GCF of 4 and 12 is going to be 4. And it's positive 4, so I'm going to put down a positive 4 and an x minus 12. Oh, I was just joking. 12 divided by 4 is not 12. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Because remember, these have to match up. So that would have been a clear sign that I made a mistake. So that matching factor is going to come out in front. And then my other leftover terms are going to be my other factor, x plus 4. Now remember, you could write it the opposite way. You could put x plus 4 times x minus 3. You just cannot flip the signs inside the parentheses. Okay? Pause the video and make sure you get everything down. We're going to move on to the next one. Last example. Now this one's even nicer than the one we had yesterday because it actually gave you part of your answer. They're saying if x minus 3 is a factor of this, then what's the other factor? So they already gave you half the work there, but we're practice it anyway. So once again, we're going to multiply 1 times -12 and get -12. Now we're going to list our factors. And I know one of them has to be -3, so that's kind of helpful. But anyway, it's going to be 1 and -12, 2 and -6, 3 and -4. And then on the opposite side, we have -1 and 12, -2 and 6, -3 and 4. Okay? Now I need to figure out what adds to positive 1. Remember, if there's no number there, it's a 1. So the first group gives me -11. Oops, sorry. The next one, 2 plus -6 is -4. 3 plus -4 is -1. Positive 12 plus -1 is 11. -2 and 6 is positive 4, and -3 and 4 is positive 1. So which group gives it to us? It's right here. So when we group it, we know we're going to get x minus 3, but right there is that other answer. It's positive 4. So I know it's going to be this answer without even doing any work. But let's group it to make sure that you guys are right. So we're going to separate our two numbers. And we're going to put our -3 here, positive 4, bring down our -12, bring down our x squared, and we group it. And we're going to get x times x plus 3. Nope, that's a -3. I'm going to have to shoot this on down here. So we have x times x minus 3. And then I'm going to factor out 4 from each of those. And I'm going to get plus 4 times x minus 3. And there's our first factor, like we said before. And then our second factor is x plus 4, which we said was the other factor. And there you go. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to practice some more on your own, and then you're going to do the Castle Learning assignment. And if you're not sure how to get these factors in your calculator, please make sure to use the tutorial on the video on the Google Classroom. So just email me if you have any questions, okay? Good luck and talk to you later.